been allowed into the dome tent is that already it is a quarter full, because Bridget, when we came here early in the morning at around 4 o'clock, there were so many people outside the gate, all of them waiting to be ushered in, and immediately there are two checkpoints. The first checkpoint where Leila is, and she's been talking to the people who are coming in. Then there's this other second point, if my camera person Samdo can be able to show, is that there is that checkpoint where people are coming in, and the moment you come in, there is bread and there is bread, soda, water, and the program that is being given to you. But also, you came in early enough, and there are things that you've already noticed. What is it that you've noticed, Bridget?
Well, one of the things is that the area has already been cordoned off in terms of the perimeter. There's a barrier as to how far cars can come within this vicinity. And also we've seen the security officials in their official or their ceremonial wear. This is something we didn't see yesterday, but today they're in their official ceremonial wear, which I think is part and parcel of today's program. But they're also very strict in terms of the cars getting in here. But there's also VIP access and other entrances to this area. That's just describing the vastness of this area. We're just like in a section of the grand home of the late president, because it's just like, yeah, people are just coming in right now. And what I also noticed is just the courtesy. You know, with such an event, you'd expect to see a lot of commotion, maybe a stampede at such a time. But we've seen a lot of order, a lot of even decorum with the people coming here. And maybe we do expect this to go on even in the course of the day. But the people are here, they're excited. You said it's quarter full. I can see that the hall is now almost halfway full. They say they're expecting 30,000 people. We do believe this will also exceed the expectations of the people.
You'll remember that the 30,000 is for the first people who are going to be here. Yes. So the first 30,000 people are the ones who are going to get the water, the bread, and the soda. So we are expecting more. Remember also, we are in an institution that has students who are, there is the primary section, there is the secondary section, and there is the university section. And we did not factor them in this 30,000 number. So we do expect probably about 50,000. That is according to the rough estimates that one of the police officers was giving me. And they are saying that there is already somebody who is counting the number of people who are coming in. But yesterday, there are some security measures that were being put in place. And you spoke to the RC, that is the regional commissioner, Natembeya. What is it that he said, and according to what we've also been able to notice this morning?
He said there was going to be very heavy deployment. Maybe yesterday on your way you did see maybe a section or one or two policemen along the route, but I do believe today they're going to intensify that. Yes. He also said today there's not going to be just the physical representation of the police, but there's also going to be the ones who are within the public. The people are going to prevent the pickpockets from stealing from people. So he's really telling the Kenyans that if you're coming here, actually he went ahead to encourage people of Nakuru County not to watch the proceedings that are going to happen here from their TVs, but to come here in person and experience it. You said 50,000. He quoted the figure around 70,000. Wow. That's the figure that they're expecting from the public, as you've said. Maybe even 100,000 people estimatedly could be here. And he also went ahead to say that they are really keen on the dress code. And I don't know if you've been able to see any branded people here as you've been able to observe, or what really is the feeling from the dress code of the people. I've seen also students from schools are also coming in. Also, they've been able to designate special buses. They're going to take the VIPs from this venue to the home, which he said it's a very private and intimate session, and he would want Kenyans to afford the first family of the former president that intimacy with this burial, that not everyone is really going to be there at those grounds.
Well, Bridget, as you've said, is the only branded items that I have been able to see is that on my way here, I saw the Pokot elders, yes, and they had their full regalia, the cheetah. They had the cheetah coats on, yes, and a red berets that had been written Pokot elder. That is the only form of branding that I have been able to see. You must remember that this is history in the making. The last time something like this happened was in 1978, yes, when the former president, that is Mzee Kenyatta, died, and his body lied in state for 10 days. This is a former president whose body lied in state for 3 days. And everybody now wants to see what is this, so that in their lifetime, yes, or when they do grow up, they will be telling their children that this is something that happened and we saw it happen. So everybody who's been coming in here, and actually it is true what you're saying, if Samdo could be able to show this other side, there is almost 40 to 50% occupancy of this first main dome tent, before all the others who will be coming in later will be ushered onto the other dome tents that are there, because they are saying that they do have capacity. This is the graduation square of Kabarak University. But then again, also one thing that we were able to notice, because I was here until about 10 o'clock yesterday night, is that there are the chefs, the waiters, the cooks who had already come here. There were thousands of them just to make sure that this food is ready. And when we were living here at around that time, they had already started cooking. Remember, also there were concerns from some of the elders that were spoken to in Sacho yesterday. And these elders were of the opinion that if some of the traditions that they do follow as the Kalenjin community are not followed and strictly adhered to, there's a probability that they will call their own and organize another ceremony just to cleanse everything that happened here. There were concerns that they do want even the bulls that are going to be slaughtered, they have to already have been castrated. That means that the zimemaliza kazi yao, according to the wazee. And the wazee was saying, as for Moi, he was a serious elder of the community, and there are certain rights that must be followed. One of them is also that his head, when he is being buried, must be facing where the sun comes from, because he comes from I don't know, they call it the Sotet
Clan.
The Sotet clan or something like that. But there are those things that we've been able to see. I can also see, Bridges, already there are some people on their lines and they have already started eating their bread and soda. I don't know.
You know, Kiswahili wanasema mwile ijengwi bure. So maybe I do believe that they did wake up early. This is a place, by the time we're getting here at around 4 a.m. in the morning, people already swarming, and there was a lot of possibility. Without the strength of the security officials trying to man the gate, there would have been a possibility of a stampede. And you know, there was been a lot of backlash from the community or the social media regarding why are they giving people just bread and soda. And this is a former head of state who we know the state has the machinery to feed the people. And you know, the regional commissioner was like, no, don't mind. You've seen the chefs. At least you can attest to the public that it's not just soda. This is like breakfast that they're being given, but they will be fed. Actually, according to the program, is that once the body leaves this graduation square, as it heads towards the private residence of the former late president, the people will be ushered in to eat and maybe have meals during that period. We are seeing people with children, young children, and Ken, you can just understand that this is really going to be a very solemn moment for the people of this country. There's a lot of respect. People are coming in here. You'd expect to be a lot of chanting, a lot of excitement, but people are really coming in understanding that this is a time to say goodbye to one of the towering figures. You said it is a historical moment, and it's not just for Kenyans, but for the people who are just going to be watching, even at home, to just understand the magnitude that the presence of the former president had here in Nakuru. He's going to be missed, I can tell you for sure, because this was synonymous. Just passing here was just like you were next to Moi. Now imagine being here, seeing his casket. People were expecting to have a viewing of him, but unfortunately, security organs are saying no. On the part of tradition, they said this would happen, but we don't know when exactly. But I do remember when I was speaking with the RC that he was going to ensure, or he mentioned that they're going to ensure that the traditions of the clan from which the former president came from, they're going to be followed. So maybe the Wazes have not been communicated that, but I do believe as an African, we are an African people, this is something that will happen. Maybe not today, because it is very ceremonial and very stately. But I'll let you go to the crowd and maybe speak with them as I also try and observe what's happening. But people, we are here, we are live. Ken is going to the crowd.
Yesterday when you were speaking to the regional commissioner, he told you how many goats are going to be slaughtered, and also how many bulls and all that. But also there are people who consider him as a person who really built the Maasai community. And there are those who even brought some bulls that they wanted slaughtered. I don't know how many in number did he say?
Among the Ma counties, I think Kajiado County is the one that really came out and said, you know, to honor the way the late president treated the Ma community during his time in office, that they gave out 6 bulls, which I think maybe would have been transported here, and also around 51 goats. That's a lot. That's a lot. And by yesterday, by the way, the government had already slaughtered around 50 50 cows just to feed the crowd that is expected to be here. But we do believe the number must have gone up. The chefs have been busy throughout the night. And so we do believe food is not going to be a problem here, contrary to what people thought, that it's only bread and soda that they can have at such a stately function.
Well, also on this side, there is the people who are already coming in. And as I told you that the lines are already swarming up. The people who are being allowed into this particular point are already swarming up. And this tent is almost full as they now try to move into the other one. But on this other side where the VIPs will be sitting, there yesterday when we were here, there was quite some space that had been left. But what we were able to discover is that they were leaving the space for more of the VIPs. And what we've seen is that all the seats, all the red seats that are prepared for the VIP, each of those seats has a name to who is going to be sitting on that one. Next to the president, what we've also noted is that there is going to be all the children of Moi, starting with Raymond Moi, who is now the eldest, after JT, that is Jonathan Moi, left the stage, that is left the world. Now, there are all of them who are going to be seated next to the president in the order in which they did come into this world. Then there is a section that has been left out for the government officials. There are two huge portraits of the former president that have been placed there, and having noticed and having remembered that Moi was a man of precision and decorum, and also everything that that is associated with him had to go according to how he liked. There are flowers that have been put at the front all the way to these tents that are at the end, and all these flowers, remember that also there are those who believe that in Moi everything had to go as according to plan. So what also, as I go back to you, Dibal, in studio, is that we've also noted that everything that has been happening since the proclamation, the announcement of the death, has been going according to precision. Now, we do expect that every time, when the body arrives here, the service will be starting, and at 3 o'clock, everything should have been completed, and Mzee is going to be rested in his private place where they said that he is going to be buried next to his wife, that is the late Lena. So we do expect that everything is going to go as precision, and we do understand that by 7:30 o'clock in the morning, the airstrip is going to be closed after the body has arrived. We do expect some dignitaries who are going to be coming from Nairobi, all those who are going to be flying. There is an airstrip at his home, and there is also another airstrip next to this place. Also, there is going to be the military guard, and we do expect that when he's going to be laid to rest, there is going to be a 19-gun salute and all this. But all these are things that we are keeping ready to make sure that we do bring it to you all the way from here in Kabarak. But we're just keeping an eye, and we'll be giving you updates from now until when the ceremony is over. Back to you, Dibal, in studio.